Hey guys, I'm back again. Well, I finished doing this piece and I've left that undone, and I forgot about these pieces, and it was someone else. Sylvia reminded me I needed to do these pieces. It's a lady that I did the afternoon with, and I'm like, yeah, I forgot to put the lacy bits in because all of them have got lacy bits. I actually embroidered the lavender, and I just embroidered the small little the butterfly, just bullion stitches there and French knots, and thought I'd add a bit of yellow to match that. So I'm going to leave this as is, because the next pieces that I've got, the next one is going to go here, so which is my fairy wren. So I'll just move that over there for now. This is the fairy wren, and this is the kit. Now this is my kit. Yeah, this is the size that I originally had, was probably in between those. This is how much bigger. So I'll show you all the ones that I've got coming up. So we got the fairy wren, which I've got painted. So they're just slightly bigger. The other one, I'm using this plate, and see some of the bits and pieces are, not even quite covering. So, but I'm doing the round. You can do whatever you like. If you want, you can cut out your bits. So that's, this is December. You see I've coloured it in, and I'll explain that in a minute. So December, this is January, February. So that's the previous ones that you've just received. Okay, so they're that much bigger. That one is going to go above the lavender and in between the geranium on that side, and I've cut them all round. So then that's going to go on the opposite side of geranium, so that's the rosemary, and the fox is going to go in the middle, and then the last one's blackberries. So thought I'd just show you the sort of difference in size. These are I've got the packs with the hand-drawn ones that I've done on there. So basically, like when they sent it back and I saw how big the fairy wren was, I was a little disappointed. But then when I saw how big the bunny and everything was, I wanted it to be more to scale, and get everything else out of it. But it is what it is. So I'm going to move this and then grab my pen, wherever that is. I should have that handy. I'm pretty sure that it is handy somewhere. Moved all the bits and pieces over. I can't believe that I haven't got the pen. Well, it doesn't matter. Have we got another colour? The friction, does this work? Yes, it does. Okay, so the fairy wren just fits like there, but that's been cut off there. Now you in camera. There we go. So what I've got to do, this is what I mean by doing it on a flat surface. See, that just fits. So what I'm going to do is just go like this and make it so that it's going like that, and we can sort of cut that off a little bit, so that'll be tucked under like that. It'll have the word fairy wren, which I'll embroider. So I got out my Inktense pencils, and this design was inspired by something that I saw on, I just googled the image fairy wren, and then I saw one that was like this, and then between that and a few others, I just drew it. I didn't copy direct, I just drew what I saw. So I thought I'm just going to pencil in the colours that will help me because I want to do stitching over most of it. So because he's not that big, but he's not that small either. So it bled a little bit, but then I thought I'm going to work with that. So I did the blues on the outside. So I've got my selection of colours. Oh no, that's not mine. That's a kit. A sample of a kit. Where is my colours? Fairy Wren. There we go. And originally I had this bit here thinking that would go on there, perfect. Barely makes a scratch. The only thing I was thinking is you could probably undo it because all the kits have got it. Unpick it. Or you can have it as is. It was just a bit of stuff that I had in, quite a bit of binding, whatever it was. And I thought, yeah, just a bit of that fabric might be okay. I think it's, yeah, because it's on the bias there. So by the time I unpick this, so there you go. So if you've got the kit, because I made this kit and put all the fabrics thinking that they're going to be, it was a little bit bigger than that, but not as big as this. But then once it's all put in together and you see how big the animals are, I think it'll go okay. You've got to use and work with what you got. And it, at least you can see him. Okay, so just get your unpicker, unpick that. As you can see, it didn't take too long. Got a bit of thread in there. What you could probably do is give that a bit of an iron. Then it's pretty much the right width, but you need to stretch it along. So, and you don't really want to go over the legs. So I'm just happened to get the bit that's on the join. I think that's probably why I gave that one to myself. So what I might do with that is I might cut the full bit there, and have it to that, or even just get little bits and stick it on. Or you can paint it, I don't know. Well, it's a challenge now. I've got to work with it and we're going to see what we're going to do. So get all the other bits and pieces out. Now all these are just that little bit different. These ones, because you get what you get out of the things, and these were little bits left over. I may or may not use them. I've got this selection will work really, really well. That bit here is quite light. That is a very dark blue, almost black. So I've pinched, got a selection of bits and pieces just over here up to this side. Went into my stash. So definitely want to use that for here and on the beak and on the eye. The light colour here, that I will use in here, definitely. And in there was this colour, like a, I tried to, I think it's in here, that's that blacky colour again. And then there was a bright colour that had that, but also that, see how that's got that purpley hint about it? I might use it in there as well. So the bright colour on there, maybe the bright colour mixed in with a bit of that light. Yeah, bit of dark, bit of everything in there. And then there was this really browny, almost, that sort of colour. So put that in there, and then we got the creams, sort of creams and yellowy creams, which I'm going to be using some of those in there, and then some browns, which I'll use on there. So I might do the word fairy wren with this. I think that'll work, because I did that with the other ones. So yeah, these are the two that you get. You get sort of a lighter blue and a darker blue, but it definitely needed a real sort of dark navy blue. That's going to work on there. So I might even use that in combination with maybe that, or this is the blue that we had. No, it's definitely a darker blue. See this? This is, I think it's a Wonderful. It's got all the colours in there. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to remove that out. I'll grab some scissors. So this is the November, and we're going to cut this. Oh no, we are going to that's the line that you turn around. Ooh, okay, well I've stuffed up there, and that's okay, because we need to keep that. Okay, that's all right. Maybe that part can have a doily or something over it, which very well may work. So what I'll do is I'll cut this up. So I've only got the colour on there just to help guide me. So getting that. There we go. That bit we can see stuff up on the first bit. Keep some of these, but I just can't be bothered. I've got so many bits and pieces. That'll do. So what I will do is I'll proceed to, and because I can start from here, just got the, no, here we go. So what I'll do is I'll proceed to fold and iron, use the line like that, and then I'm going to stick it down onto my piece. So I'll do that, and then I will be back once it's down on the piece. I'm not sure, got this and this, how all of this is going to work. Do love that. Just a little bits of blue, whether we put it underneath, that I don't know. So I will come back once I've done, you know, at least folded it down and glued it like. There we go. But I mean, and this is what do they call it? The stitch, where you do, you know, you turn it. I will admit it, this fabric here is really good for doing this with. You can do this ahead of time, do the line, and then do this. It because it's 75% linen and 25% cotton, it sits really well. I love linen, but I find it a bit frayy, but this is sitting really well. So it's going to be easy to, you know, use that line as a guide, and because it's on, I did it with a friction pen. It will be easy guide. And even if, you know, that's too dark that I've got there, that's all right. It'll iron off. And those little splotches. So I proceed. Yeah, see, even I make mistakes. It's only a little bit. We'll probably just put a bit of fabric over that. It's all good. Okay, so I'll pause and I'll be back. Okay, well, I'm back again, and I've sort of ironed that and cut out a few little bits and pieces. Now, this little piece here was attached to there, and I thought it needed to be round. And so I'm going to put that underneath there to tie that in. And it sort of just fits in there rather nicely. And these are the two little blue pieces. This is the piece that, you know, like the applique piece. And because it has been really closely stitched, and I've done most of it, but I'll show you the rest, you can go really close to the end so you don't see any of the white. And I did the same with those leaves that are like little leftover little bits of leaves. And then we are going to go over it with, I see a tiny little bit there that's a little bit bigger. We're going to go over it with this just in a slip stitch, and because it's already got that whitey colour around it, it's going to look okay. Now I was thinking it doesn't have to have the word fairy on. That's what I'm going to do there, because I thought, where am I going to put this? So I'm just going to slide that underneath there, and here's that bit. Remember that bit that hasn't got the proper edge? I'm going to put that over there. Just slide it under there, just so that's covered, and we can just have the word Wren. So I've got these bits, also got those. Now this bit here was in here. Not everyone gets one with this, but if you don't, you can use this and do a hexagon like I did in the last one. I think they're a good size. I've got this big piece here, and I was thinking what I might do. Also done this, you've got that extra colour here too. So I'm going to use that as a guide. Now this is a really nice old tablecloth piece that I had. So this is why I want to do this now, because I'm not sure what I'm putting under or putting over. So the bits that I put under, I'm going to do a little cut in the corner there, and then use my little glue stick like I do, just to fold it down. At least I know it's going to be semi-straight. Now the reason why I'm doing it, I quite like raw edges, but I have to have something with, you know, folded over edges, because I can't afford raw edges because it's going to be on my bed. So I've got to be really careful. So this is, I have ironed that in. This is Inktense. The other ones I've done acrylic. But I am going to stitch over that, and so, you know, it has been ironed in, and because it is ink and not watercolour, I may even just cut this out, because it seems a bit of a waste. Okay, because it's just going to be underneath. Okay, there we go. That will be fairly big along there, so I might even have to cut it here, because it's going to be encroaching on that dandelion piece. A bit too big. Yeah, so I will stitch it down along here, but I'm not going to stitch it down along there, because the dandelion will go on, and I don't know whether I'm going to go underneath or over the top. We'll see how we go. So I do want to see some of those flowers. I've got this, which I really wanted to put there, or maybe, where's that little, this piece here. Doesn't matter if I cover one of them, that's all good. I was thinking maybe I can just do the stitching that I did like on here, or on my other one I could do that type of stitching around. I think I will. So if that's the case, I am going to cut it a little straighter. I just never know what I'm going to do until I do it. And that'll give me a little point. It's a little bit fatter on that side than it is on the other side. So I will have to cover that yellow, but that's okay because it's only one. Okay, now, and I'm even happy with the wren. So what I may do is I may put that there, and I'm going to have that there. I've got this little piece left over. I've got this piece. I've even got that. So, and I ironed this out. And what I'm probably going to do, there's a couple of lines along there. I might just get bits, even though that's just the perfect size. I might just cut out bits. I might put, what's that stuff on there? Put it on some of the paper. I wonder if I've got any of it here. And then cut out bits, like a bit like the collage hang tin. I'll be back. The collage quilter. Okay, back again. I've just ironed some of that stuff on there. But what I was thinking. Okay, what have we got? Bark earth, baked earth, and the mustard. The mustard is yellow, baked earth is more that colour. We're probably wanting willow. I was thinking maybe doing a little bit of the colouring in of that. Okay, and then going over the top of that. So there we go. Right, have that on there. Put that down here. There we go. Just need to move those out of the way for a sec. And we'll do, is it willow? Yeah. So I'm just going to do a bit of the colouring in. Not too dark. And this is what we will actually see. So this is what I did with this guy. Might do a couple of little bits of a different colour. Add a bit of dimension. Okay, now where did I put that? You hardly need any bits and pieces. Now I've got this that I'll put underneath. Now you see that's what I used for that. And then just activate it a tiny amount. don't want it too activated, if you know what I mean. I don't want it bleeding. Okay, get a bit of everything in this video. Hopefully I'm in camera. And because they are called ink tints, they're quite a strong colour. You really don't need a lot of colour. So what I'll do, if I've left the iron on, I'll give it an iron. Just needs a bit of something. Some of those bits that are a little bit lighter, I might come in with the dark. There we go. Okay, so I'll let it ruffle out a little bit. And along here, always looks better when it sort of comes out a little bit more natural. I'll pause it again and I will be back. Okay, back again. I think that looks good. And then so what I'll do is I'm going to cut bits, maybe stick them on these lines, and because it's got the Blisafix on the back, I'll just do a few stitches around it. And it's the, was it steam to seam, or whatever you call it. So I was thinking of having that on there, that there, this guy here, maybe that can go there. I think it was a little over. No, there we go. Trying to get it in. That should stay there. There we go. Yeah, I don't mind having the word just Wren. I think that works. And then he can go here. Oh, already got something on there. I don't mind that you can sort of see some of those flowers underneath. I think they look rather cute. But we are going to stitch that down. So what I'll be doing today, stitching this down. That's going to go over the top. There we go. And better felt this out a little better. Seems awfully close. Need a little bit of that light blue edge. Yep. There we go. So, and then these guys will go on later. So that's going to go over the top. So he probably needs to come in just a tad. so we can get that over the top. There we go. Take two, because that's got to cover that. And then I'll come back and we are going to do some stitching. So that I have to take off, plus that, put those two together. These guys will go down here, that. Now where's that other piece? The other flower, or the leaf, wherever it is. It's here somewhere. I do need it. Since I got it, I want to use it. Okay, so for now, what I'm going to do, get some thread, and I will find that other flower, hopefully. Oh, here it is, got it. The other leaf. So for now, that's what we're doing. Just so I can start stitching down. There we go. Okay, we're actually going to be doing some stitching now. So next week will be a good one. Then I'll do. Just going to do a slip stitch using this very awesome thread that I managed to get, and just slip stitch that down. So that's why when you do this, you need to wait until you know what's going underneath and what's going on top. This is going to be stitched over as well. I better put a pin on there. There we go. Okay, we're in business. Almost. Oh my goodness. Trying to get this thread. I did cut it. Oh, here it is. So I might quickly start it, and that's the end of part 1, doing all the arranging and bits and pieces, and in the next one I may start working on the stitching. Okay, well, there goes my iron. Now, can you see this? Hopefully it's in camera. Yes. I'll grab my thimble. And move these bits and pieces over. Okay. I've got little pieces of lace and all that kind of stuff sitting on there too, so you know, some of them might find their way in. So I am going to start on this piece. Just going to do a bit bigger of a slip stitch, or maybe even a back stitch, because the first stitch I do, it looks like it's fraying. Oops, sorry guys. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean by live linen, but it does not bode well. I'm just going to do a very quick back stitch on that. Have that out of the way. Yes, there's always a way of covering up mistakes. And then very quickly we are up to the folded edge. Okay. And pre-doing it and, you know, ironing it and doing all that, it really does make it so much easier. Getting a bit bulky though with my pieces. Need to hold it here. There we go. And come in and just do a slip stitch, which is made rather quick because we don't have to worry about folding over the edge because I've already ironed it around. It sits really well. So there you go, girls. If you do need to do you know, a slip stitch or folding it down, you can. Okay, well, it's probably the extent of the stitching that you'll see because it's the time's already gone. And the first part of my wren, fairy wren, it is a fairy wren, but it's still a wren, so I'm not too worried about having the word fairy off. Here we go. So we're now getting into the other piece. What I'm going to do once they're all finished and they've got all their, you know, pieces are joined, I'll have a look for any empty spaces and fill it with, you know, I'll keep all these bits and pieces in my bags and then have a look if they need any colour or they need some lace doilies or just a bit of embroidery or whatever. We'll just see when the time comes. Okay guys, well, I will catch you later, and this is the design for now. Okay. Oh, this guy does need to just sit in there like that. It's good that I've utilised that little bit. I think that's rather sweet. It brings that in. Okay, well, I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.